So you're thinking of visiting Zion National Park during the current COVID crisis, or maybe soon after. There are some important things you should know about before you go that will help to make your experience at the park a much nicer one. This video will explain the current scenario for visiting the main canyon and provide some other helpful information you'll probably want to know. This video was produced in August of 2020, so depending on when you're watching it, policies may have changed. Be sure to check the National Park website at the address on your screen for the most up-to-date information. In this video, I'll explain what you'll experience during this current scenario. This includes purchasing an entrance fee, how to ride the park's shuttle buses, and how and where to park your vehicle. The video also explains alternate ways to enter Zion Canyon using a private shuttle, why there are buses in the first place, as well as other places to visit in Zion National Park that don't require riding on a bus or van. First, let me explain the normal way that someone would visit Zion Canyon before COVID began. On maps, the canyon itself is also referred to as Zion Canyon Scenic Drive. Back in the year 2000, a shuttle bus system was implemented to service the ever-expanding tourist crowd. There are only so many parking spaces in the canyon itself, and during the summer months, visitors were finding it difficult to find a place to park. I'll explain more about the bus system in a moment. After COVID, the way to get into the canyon has changed. You can still ride the big shuttle buses, but due to the required physical distancing of passengers now, the buses are limited to carrying only about 25% of their normal load. Even in the normal years during the summer months, such as in 2017, it was normal to wait 1 to 3 hours to board a bus at the visitor center. And that was when the buses were at 100% carrying capacity. In order to help as many visitors as possible to ride the big buses, the National Park Service made the decision to implement a reservation policy and system. Visitors now need to make reservations to ride the shuttle buses on the government website, recreation.gov. Normally, this reservation must be made a day in advance. To use this website, you'll need to create a login. If you don't, you won't be able to see available dates and times to ride the bus. You are watching the process to create a login. Make sure you are logged in, which you see me doing now. Once you are logged in, use the big search box on the home page to search for Zion. You'll see this screen. Don't let the map confuse you. Instead, look in this list and locate Zion National Park shuttle tickets. Then, click on it. This new web page opens. If you have time, get informed about all the policies and requirements by scrolling down and reading this section. Use this section, Reserve Tickets, to select the number of seats you need, what date you'll be riding the bus, and what time. The time is very critical. Be sure to show up within the hour of your reservation. When I click on the date, notice this drop-down calendar shows the dates that are available and those that are not. After I select the date I want to travel, I need to select the hour I want to travel in. This is just for when you want to leave the visitor center and go up the canyon. When I click the time, as you can see here, it lists the hours that are available and the number of seats remaining. Select the hour you wish to leave the visitor center. If you are planning your trip to Zion about 2 weeks in advance, Make sure to select those dates on the calendar, then select the time drop-down to see what hours are available. Normally, a large number of seats are made available for people that plan their trip around 2 weeks in advance. Also, for those that do arrive on a given day and they do not have a bus reservation ticket, the park will often release a number of tickets at 3 p.m., depending on the passenger demand for that day. Go to the visitor center to find out what's happening that day. Make sure to use this drop-down list to select the number of people in your party, which will indicate how many seats you need. For each seat, there is a $1 fee. This fee pays for the use of the reservation system. The bus ride is still free, as it always has been. Follow the directions to either print out your tickets or save them to your phone so that you can show them when you board the bus behind Zion's Visitor Center. Once you print out your tickets, keep them with you because you'll need to show them each time you board the bus, including when you return to the visitor center at the end of your visit. Because of the sheer volume of people who visit the park, it is likely that this reservation system will continue being used even after the current crisis is over. Hopefully, it will help visitors board the buses without the long wait times like before. It seems that, along with being unaware of the shuttle bus system, a lot of tourists these days are unaware of the various fees associated with visiting Zion. As of August 2020, here is a summary of the fees. First and foremost, remember that you are visiting a national park. Just like any other national park, you must pay an entrance fee. For Zion, that fee is $35, and it's good for everyone in your party. Typically, that means everyone in your vehicle. The fee is good for 7 days. Another option is to purchase an annual pass or, if you are 62 or older, a lifetime senior pass. Each pass is $80. There are other types of passes available too, so check the National Park website for more details. Visitors pay these fees when they enter the park. At the main entrance in Springdale, visitors enter either through this walking bridge near what's called Zion Canyon Village, or the entrance on Highway 9 that looks like a toll gate. Parking is another challenge when visiting Zion. The visitor center just outside of the park entrance in Springdale has limited parking spaces. Once those are filled, visitors are asked to park in the town of Springdale. As of 2020, the fee for parking around Springdale is $20 to $25 per day. When you park in Springdale, whether in a parking lot or on a street, be aware that parking is strictly enforced by a prompt parking enforcement officer, as you can see here. If you parked in a parking lot, find the space number. If you parked on the street, there is no number. Go to the nearest pay station that looks like this and use your credit card to pay the fee. Start your purchase by pressing this button here. Then read the prompts here on this screen. The machine will print a receipt for you. Place the receipt on the dashboard of your car, making sure it is visible and not hidden by anything, such as a sun shield. If the parking enforcement officer can't see it, you will get a costly ticket. Before you come to Zion, realize that there are several areas in the park that are closed. There are a variety of reasons for the closures, including COVID and Mother Nature related. In 2019, a major rockfall occurred that took out one of the more popular attractions in the park, Weeping Rock. Unfortunately, this is also the trailhead for both the Hidden Canyon and Observation Point hikes, so they are closed too. Due to the new bus reservation system, Many people have been parking their vehicles near the start of the scenic drive, then walking up the canyon. Along with the increased bus, van, and bicycle traffic, this has added to the safety concerns for this area. People that walk up this long hill soon find that there isn't much to see for several miles, and many turn back. Keep in mind that from the beginning of the scenic drive, it is about 4 to 5 miles until you see any of Zion's more spectacular scenery. At the end of the long hill is the Court of the Patriarchs. Unfortunately, this attraction is currently closed, but you can certainly see these majestic monoliths on the ride up. Currently, there is also a problem with poisonous algae in the water of the Virgin River. This is caused by the lack of rain that southwest Utah sometimes experiences, meaning there is not enough fresh water to flush out the river. Around June of 2020, the park began allowing privately owned shuttle vans into the canyon. During this time, private vehicles were still allowed in the canyon, but parking spaces filled up by early morning. The big buses finally began running on July 1, and private vehicles were no longer allowed in. Once the buses started running, private vans were still allowed in to transport passengers that could not get a ticket on the big buses. The reason for this change is obvious when you remember that because of COVID, the big buses can only transport 25% of their normal load. When the park reopened on June 1, after the COVID shutdown, and started using the new reservation system, it was hoped that visitation to the park would be low. Well, those hopes didn't come true. By the end of June, the park was inundated, and there were simply not enough bus tickets for all the people who wanted to visit. For those visitors not able to find available bus seats on recreation.gov, or simply arrive and are unaware of the current situation, they can now purchase transportation into the canyon through these private van companies. Typically, a ticket costs around $20 to $40 per person. Keep in mind that the big buses are funded with our tax dollars. The vans are not. So the cost of running these vans are passed on to the consumer, which is you. There are various companies in Springdale providing van service. Some offer service at specific times. Others offer continuous service from 6 a.m. until after dark, with vans running every 15 to 30 minutes. Be aware of which type of service you are purchasing and that you know the return pickup times. So, you've spent a day or two visiting Zion Canyon, but you don't want to face another day of fussing with bus tickets or the crowds. What else is there to do? Well, that's what I'm going to explain next. Here's a map of Zion National Park. This is where Zion Canyon is located. See how it occupies only a small portion of the whole park? There's more to see in the park than just the canyon. For starters, make sure you don't miss driving the entire length of Highway 9 through the park. After the turnoff to the scenic drive up the canyon, Highway 9 climbs up out of Zion Canyon, passes through a historic tunnel, and exits the east side of the park through some spectacular scenery. Just after exiting the tunnel heading eastbound, there is a great hiking trail called Canyon Overlook. The parking is very limited here, so be careful when looking for a place to park. This hike winds through a small canyon and then takes you to an overlook of Pine Creek Canyon that you just came up on Highway 9. Beyond the tunnel and for about 5 miles out to the east entrance station, Highway 9 passes through some spectacular scenery of swirling red, orange, and white sandstone. Along this stretch of road, keep your eye open for desert bighorn sheep that are abundant in this area. Sometimes they are simply found in the middle of the road, so be careful when driving. More often, though, They'll be on the rock near the road, so be sure to look around. Another road to explore through Zion National Park is called Kolob Terrace Road. As you can see on the map, it winds in and out of the central portion of the park. Kolob Terrace Road starts just east of the small town of Virgin and about 12 miles west of Springdale on Highway 9. You're watching what the turnoff looks like when coming from Springdale on Highway 9. Driving up this road is similar to climbing the geological steps of the Grand Staircase of the Colorado Plateau. These geological steps begin at the bottom of the Grand Canyon and end at the top of Bryce Canyon. However, on Kolob Terrace Road, you start on a step that is roughly at the top of the Grand Canyon, which is near the town of Laverkin, and ends at a step just below Cedar Breaks National Monument. As you drive up Kolob Terrace Road, you'll go through different steps of geological layers that are known as formations. When you enter Zion National Park, you'll pass through its well-known Navajo Sandstone Formation. The road finally ends at Kolob Reservoir, which sits in a forest and is not part of the park. Another place to visit is the western side of Zion National Park, known as Kolob Canyons, not to be confused with Kolob Terrace Road that I just talked about. This place is also known as Western Zion or the Kolob Fingers. It is a separate piece of Zion National Park that is not attached to the canyon piece and has its own exit on the I-15 freeway. Here too is a scenic drive that is 5 miles long. Luckily, you don't need to take a bus to enjoy this part of Zion because not many people visit here. Private vehicles are allowed. Along with the scenic drive, Kolob Canyons offers a great hike called Taylor Creek. The trail ends at a unique geologic feature known as Double Arch Alcove. There is also plenty to see outside of Zion National Park itself and around the southwest Utah area. See the rest of the videos on our YouTube channel for virtual video tours of other areas to experience and enjoy. We hope this gives you a good idea of what's going on in Zion National Park before you come over and visit. A few days before you visit, make sure you check the National Park's website at this address for any current updates. Thanks for watching and happy exploring!